Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Somethin N Common. I am your host, Michael Wright, and across from me, as always, is my lovely, talented, beautiful, and shall I say, extremely strong wife, Kym Nichole. How are you, baby?
I'm wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, I mentioned strong, so if you guys are following our page, you know that Kym Nichole has been on her bench press program, put together by the one and only C.T. Fletcher, and she is on... We are going into week 9, and Kym Nichole had yesterday put up 140 on the bench press. Now, mind you, she started off her max 8 weeks ago was 135 pounds. Mm-hmm. Barely got that up, but now she is hitting 140 for reps. So she has been progressing beautifully. I'm super proud of her. So, you know, she's doing her triathlon stuff, but who knows? She might become a power lifter here pretty soon. But seriously, she's been doing amazing. But with that being said, let's jump into the show. So, since we brought the show back, we've got a lot of new listeners, a lot of new followers on social media. So, I thought it'll be a good idea to kind of reintroduce ourselves to everybody. So I put up a link on our Instagram the other day to have you guys ask us questions about us, our weight loss journey, and any other thing you guys wanted to know about us. So I got some very interesting questions, and so we're gonna see how this plays out. And I said we were gonna be open and honest. So,
and I haven't seen the questions.
And again, I did that for a reason.
Oh Lord.
So, to me, the best stuff is getting a natural reaction out of her and not giving her time to think about it. Because this one over here seems to think she knows how to turn it on and turn it off. So I like hitting her with questions out of the blue so you guys can get the real deal. So let's start simple, shall we? One of the first questions we got was, how did we meet? Now, this is something I think we talked about on a previous episode, but we didn't really go into a lot of depth on how we actually met and how we got together. So, you want me to tell the story? You want to tell the story?
It started with you.
Yeah, it started with me. So, we actually met online, Facebook to be exact. I was scrolling through Facebook one beautiful evening and ran across a picture of a young, vibrant, beautiful black woman. And I was intrigued, enamored, shall I say. Taken aback, nose wide open. This sexy PYT. I didn't know who she was or where she came from, but all I knew was I had to have her.
This story gets more amusing every time I hear it.
And I got her. So, some of you may know, and some of you may not know, Kym Nichole used to do some modeling. And that's where I found her. So I don't know. It wasn't her actual page. It was some kind of...
curvy girl.
Yeah, curvy girl. Some
plus size model site, yes.
Anyway, I'll never forget the picture. She had on this blue... I think it was like a light blue dress. Them thighs was out.
Oh, I had the flower in my hair.
Yeah, she was looking real islandy and sexy. And literally, I was just like, who is that? So luckily, the actual picture had a tag in it. So took my ass on over to that good page. And that's where it all began. Now, I'm getting a little old. I don't know how our actual conversations actually started. I don't know if I shot my shot in the DM.
You did.
I shot my shot? Okay.
I posted something. You commented. Mm-hmm. And we kind of went back and forth on the post. And then you inboxed me. I do know the post
had something to do with Beyonce and one of her songs that had just came out.
And then you inboxed me. And we went back and forth inboxing. And then we exchanged numbers.
Okay. Now, we exchanged numbers, but she blew me off for a long time. She made me work for it. Now, she was here in Maryland. I was living in Arkansas at the time. And she claims she blew me off because of our location.
Yeah, distance, long distance. Dude from Arkansas. I was like,
first of all, I'm not from Arkansas.
Okay.
I was just living in Arkansas.
It'll be fun to talk to.
So we had great conversations, and there were. But I noticed as we had our conversations, she would get busier and busier and busier. So-called, wasn't doing nothing but laying in the bed watching.
I was
Sanford
busy.
and Son.
I was busy. I had 2 small kids at the time. Working. I was busy. However, I also wasn't interested in a relationship. I had resolved myself to raising my children and being by myself and doing me whenever I felt like it.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, I don't know what cracked it open all of a sudden, but she started being a little more open, and our conversations got longer and deeper, and a connection started to grow, and next thing I know, my ass was moving to the DMV. So that there in a nutshell is how we met and got together. So yeah, over time I ended up transferring jobs, coming out here, and it's been a fairy tale ever since. You don't look like you agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been quite the fairy tale. But that is how we met, and that's how we got together. Now it's been 9 years.
Yep. 9 years together. It'll be 8 years married in October.
Going on 100. Shit.
Who you telling?
I'm being an asshole. Okay, so that's that question. The next question was for Kimberly, and it was, you guys post a lot of pictures, but in some of the pictures, it looks like Michael is annoying you. Does he annoy you as much as it seems like?
Yes.
I annoy you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Listen, I love this man. I love this man like I've never loved anybody. Wouldn't trade him. But when I tell you, when he works a nerve, he works the nerve. So the pictures that y'all see, the videos that y'all see are 110% accurate.
I don't annoy him.
Because he can wear me out.
An example. What do I do that annoys you?
The weirdness.
How am I being weird?
Today. So y'all, I have not been training hard outside like I used to. COVID really derailed me in May. Really just hadn't had the motivation. This morning, I said, I'm gonna get up, get my run in outside. It's hot, but I gotta get it done. And I went to the gym with him after. So I got in 45 minutes, 3 miles outside in the heat. See, this is that bullshit.
Okay, tell your story.
Then I get home. I had to run some water over me because I was sweating like crazy. Get in some more workout clothes to go to the gym to do arms with him for another. See?
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right there, you proved my point.
No. Go ahead with your story.
That's it.
What did I do
Right
today?
there.
What did I do?
45 minutes. I'm ready to go. I'm tired. We get in the car. I'm hungry. Haven't eaten. Everything fasted cardio, fasted strength. All I had, water, pre-workout. I'm hungry. Let's go. He in the car. Dancing. For 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm hungry. I'm sleepy. Let's do this. But
10 minutes.
Just now, what you just did, that's the annoying shit. Right there. But I love him. He's mine.
So the answer to your question is no, I do not annoy him. Anyway, next question. Can you walk me through the weight loss surgery journey? How did it start and how long was the process? And I'll let you handle that one because you technically started it before I did.
So, started my weight loss journey because my dad was sick. My dad was in the hospital. My dad, morbidly obese, as they call it. And all we kept hearing was they didn't know what they could do for him because he was so large. And then he told me don't die like me. And what he meant by that was don't die fat. So that started me on my journey. My dad has never ever talked about my weight or anything ever. I was always the most beautiful girl in the world to him. But that right there stuck with me. So I came home and told Michael, I'm having weight loss surgery. And I started the process. So I contacted a weight loss surgeon practice, very large practice at a local hospital in Baltimore.
You ain't gonna name no name.
I'm not gonna name no name. But I was not impressed. Had my initial consultation with the surgeon and the team, and I just was not impressed. Did not like it, and said, I'm going to find somebody else. So found another local hospital who had a really good comprehensive program. And I'll tell everybody, really, weight loss surgery, if you're not paying out of pocket, it's really dependent on your insurance.
Yeah.
So your insurance could be... They could have no requirements prior to surgery, or they can have a ton of requirements that keep you on track with them for 2 years prior to surgery. It really depends on your health insurance. Mm-hmm. At the time, my health insurance was really, really good, and I didn't have any requirements from them. I could have had the surgery the next day based on the health insurance. The surgeon's office, the program, they required... a psychological visit, one nutritionist visit, and then the consultation with the surgeon. So it was about 3 months total. And I think I got with them in November. Even through with the holidays thrown in there, I had surgery in February of the following year. So November of 2018, I started with them and had surgery February 2019.
So my process was pretty much the same. I started kind of right after her because initially I was really against having weight loss surgery. But, and if you guys have heard the previous episodes, I've had my health issues that really kind of kick-started it for me and was my reasoning behind knowing I had to do something drastic to get the weight off. If not, I was not going to live a very long life. So I think I started the process in
January.
Mm-hmm. Did my psychological eval and the nutrition classes. So January, it was towards the end
December,
of January.
January time you started, because you really could have had surgery almost the same time as I did.
Yeah, but
we made it a decision not to.
And that was a good thing, because after weight loss surgery, it's a couple of weeks. And I think it was a little rougher for you than it was for me. And that honestly one of the next questions we'll get into. So I started in January. Then the beginning of April, I had my surgery, and you had yours in February.
I had mine in February. We could have had it. I mean, he got through his process faster. I think because I had the holidays mixed in with mine, and surgeons and everybody's on vacation or whatever. But he could have had it at the same time I did. We just decided not to do that.
Yeah. So that was kind of the process. But again, it all depends on, like you said, your insurance and what they require. I'm helping a guy right now that's trying to get weight loss surgery. His insurance, he has to do a program for like a year.
Yeah.
So he probably won't get to have his surgery till like after the first of next year, like 2023.
Some insurance companies require you to do classes, either online classes or in person. So many in person. It really just depends on your health insurance. I always say do the research before you start with the program, because you just need to know what you're looking at and get it in your mind. If your insurance company says you have to wait 18 months, that you have to do it.
Okay. So the next question was, both of you guys look great, and you make it look easy as far as dealing with the weight loss surgery, what they were talking about. But what were the hardest parts of weight loss surgery, and do you still have issues that you deal with today?
So for me, the hardest part was right after. The vomiting was terrible for me. And right after surgery, you really have to relearn what you can tolerate and what you can't. The first 2 weeks were liquid protein shakes, really soft stuff, like just liquidy stuff. That was fine. But when you start introducing the foods back in, typically around week 4, 6-ish, you start getting more of the solid foods, and that's when you start to see what your body can take and what you can't. And I remember being at that point like, food is overrated. I hate this shit. I don't want to eat anything ever again. I'm just going to be living on water and protein shakes, because it was just terrible. Some things caused a lot of mucus, which made me throw up a lot.
It's what they call the dumping stage.
Yeah, and so you have the dumping stage for gastric sleeve people. So we had the sleeve, which is more of a vomiting type thing. If you have the full bypass where they're moving your intestines and things, that's going to be the other end. You're going to be in the bathroom. But this is more like, and some days I would just be throwing up mucus because something had caused mucus buildup. So, you learn what you can have and what you can't have. And it really, so I had been like vegetarian, but it really, in that moment, I had to be more vegan because I couldn't tolerate hardly anything like dairy, none of it. I couldn't take it. I think that was the hardest part. And just being full so fast and wrapping your mind around how much you can eat and what you can't. So if you eat too fast, you can get sick. If you eat too much, you can get sick. And I mean, we were doing like a teaspoonful of food and would be full. And I think that was the hardest part for me, was getting to the what I can eat, what I can't eat, and then the physical, what would happen physically if I couldn't tolerate it or couldn't take it. And I think to this day, while I can eat more, if I eat too fast or if I eat too much, I'm again back at that throwing up. Got to get it out of my system because it's just too much. So over 3 years out, I'm still not eating a full what I used to eat prior to surgery.
Like we worked out this morning and had breakfast, and we're literally sharing food now. And that's another thing we had to learn, was like there was no reason for us to go out to eat and each of us get our own separate plate.
We wasted a lot of money early on because we thought, we could eat this. And still would bring it home and it would last like 4 or 5 meals instead of before surgery we would get food. If we had leftovers, we could eat it the next day and be gone. We had stuff that lasted 3, 4, 5 meals, and it was just a waste of money. So now we just typically share, maybe get 2 appetizers and share those, because you also have to think about your liquid. So if you're drinking water, juice, whatever, that is going to hold space in your stomach at the time too. So they tell you early on to eat and then drink. Don't do it at the same time because you're just going to fill up on the liquid and you can't get your food down. And that's still a thing. Like I can get a glass of water with dinner and not finish the water.
I'm notorious for that. So for me, the hardest part for me, I didn't have a lot of the vomiting. That I didn't have any of that. The biggest issue for me was the water at first. I could not get enough water in.
And I think we still struggle with that.
To this day, it's still bad 3 years out. But one of the things they really push after surgery is you got to get your water in. And that was hard. Hard. And like I said, even 3 years out, it's still tough to try to drink a gallon of water a day.
But sometimes you have to negotiate. Am I going to eat or am I going to drink the water? Like, which one is it?
So that's one of the things I struggle with now. I still have to do better with my water intake. I'm definitely not getting enough water. It's just really hard. It's like you drink it. And that's the thing. And I don't think people understand. So before weight loss surgery, you could just eat a meal and you're just like, oh, I'm full. But now it's not like that. It's painful.
Yeah. It's like could be debilitating some days.
And it's some days I'm like, okay, I know I overeat. I ate too much. It's just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like it's extremely painful. So, one of the things I'm having to get back to, they tell you early on about chewing your food. They wanted you to chew your food 1,000,000 times before you swallowed it.
Pulverize.
And there's a reason for that, because if you don't now, I get it now. I have to really consciously like, Michael, chew this food, because you take a couple of bites and then you swallow it. It's just like, oh my God, it's rough. So I know for like certain things didn't agree with me. I was like, it took me like, it was about 6 months after surgery before I could really eat red meat. It just did not agree with me for a long time. So after you kind of get through the liquid stage and the soft food stage, I started incorporating chicken a lot, but red meat just was rough. So now 3 years out, the only real thing I have an issue with is the acid reflux. And I don't know if it's something that I'm eating that's causing it. I mean, I know that's one of the things you can deal with after having that surgery. But I didn't have the acid reflux early on. I just started really getting that like a year ago. So I don't know if it's something that's just in my diet that's causing it now or what it is. But that's probably the worst thing that I deal with now. And I only get it like in the middle of the night. It just wakes you up. You're like, oh God. And it's terrible. So no, it's not easy. And again, it affects people differently. Her recovery process was a lot more stringent than mine was, but it can be easy for some and hard for others. So again, it all depends on the person.
We also have to really pre-plan. So like if we go out to dinner, we definitely look at the menu before we go, so we know what's available for us. If we're doing like dinner and a show or a concert or something, we have to make sure we have time. So like when we go to the restaurant, it's not just eat, let's go. Like we really have to eat, chew, stop, and take our time, or it's just not going to be a good look. So we typically do like 2 hours at a restaurant prior to going anywhere else to make sure that we can eat our food, enjoy it, and then...
Because normally, like, we like going to comedy shows. So, you know, when you go to like a comedy club, it's a 2-drink minimum. And it's like, I'm sitting there like, I can't get 1 drink down, let alone 2. So those are the struggles you have, but you find a way to work around it. And, you know, my wife likes to turn them back. So normally she'll drink my drink and we'll be good. Am I lying?
Does he really annoy me? Yes.
All right. So the next question is, how has weight loss surgery affected your relationship, good and bad? Now,
what?
Good, I would say.
You have somebody with you that understands what you're going through.
But it really opened, in my opinion, it opened our world up a lot more. Because before we had weight loss surgery and we were both sitting around damn near 500 pounds, all we did on a weekly basis, go to work.
And think about what we was going to eat.
Yeah, I mean, literally during the day, she's texting me, I'm texting, what we eating tonight? And it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. Like, what we having for dinner? It's just, all we did was eat, go to work, and watch TV, and sit in the bed. We didn't really do much more than that.
Yeah.
You know, not unless we were doing like family stuff, but just as far as getting out, doing stuff together, we didn't do a lot of that early on. And the weight loss has really, like I said, opened our world up, and we are a lot more adventurous, and we get out and do a lot more, and we're not just laying in the bed and eating ho-hos and cupcakes and shit like that. But yeah, I do enjoy a good cookie every now and then.
I did tell him early on, like, we have a lot of time on our hands now because we're not thinking about what our next meal is, or, you know, we're going to brunch on Sunday and then lunch and then the dinner. Like, what are we doing? We're not thinking like that.
Yeah. So I would say that would be for the good. Now the bad, I think for me, and you can answer this in your opinion, it because my weight loss was, I guess, more drastic, we've had to have that situation where she was kind of questioning herself about my weight loss, but she's done great. Like, she's lost 240, where is it now? 240 pounds. Like, but they tell you early on, like, for men, for some reason, men normally lose a lot more weight faster and all of that stuff. So I've lost 260 something pounds. So for her, it made her question her surgery, like, is she doing the right things? And again, she would tell me, like, I train harder than you, which she does.
I work my ass off, literally, and this ass will not go nowhere. But I works my ass off every day. I eat the same or less. It's just the struggle of being a woman, and it sucks ass.
So, for those of you who have seen pictures of Kimberly Nichole, she's bottom heavy. She got a lot of ass. It is what it is, and it ain't going nowhere. Now, it's a lot smaller than it used to be, but she still got a lot of ass. So she gets mad at me because she's like, well, your weight is coming off faster. But again, her weight loss has been drastic as well. It's just, The ass is there. That's all it is. It's just all ass. It's just
ass and thighs, and it's a lot of it. And what really irked me was like people would ask me. He would never ask him, but would ask me, "Oh, how much you lost a lot of weight. How much more weight do you want to lose?"
Which I get, because when you lose 240 pounds, it's like it's a lot of damn weight.
And I'm like, nobody asks him that because people assume he's this perfect specimen and he's at where he needs to be and he looks great and he's muscular and definition and all this and that, and they see me and I'm still bottom heavy. I still have thighs and I still have butt, and
like
I still get asked that question, which it's frustrating because I do work really, 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 really hard.
Like, we would literally get into it and she would look me in my face and be like, I work harder than you.
I do.
I train harder than you.
Mm-hmm. I do. I work really, really hard. Like, really, really hard. Like, I'm doing like 2 and 3 a day.
Like,
workout.
with literally.
Like, it just hurt my heart. Like,
make me feel like I ain't doing nothing.
And it really wasn't. He wasn't the
literally, you're not doing shit.
He wasn't the problem. But it's like, are you kidding? Like, you just lay here and it's great. But people are still asking me how much more weight I want to lose.
That's all I do. I just lay there.
I'm just saying. This man, we could be planning to work out in the mornings and he'll just be like, go ahead and go do your bike. Go ahead and go do your run because I'm not feeling it today. And he'll lay in the bed and get up and be like 10 pounds lighter. And I have just run 12 miles and biked 28 miles, sweated all that I could sweat, and I done gained 3 pounds. It don't make no sense.
I mean, literally would destroy any workout that I did because it was not on the level of hers. So that's where I get it affected our relationship because there were, what's the word I'm looking for?
It was a lot of comparison.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's not his fault by any means. And he's a man, and y'all know that men lose weight faster.
Yeah, and they tell you that. When you're sitting in the class, they're like, it's just normally for men.
I just had to get used to the fact that that's just what it was, and my progress is my progress.
And you have amazing progress everywhere we go. It does not matter if we're in the grocery store, Target, the restaurant. Like, women are coming up to her and be like, girl, I wish I had your body. So my thing, what's been hard on me is wishing that she could see what we, the world, see.
And I think as women, we do compare ourselves with other women. Social media definitely does not make it easy. So you look at people and you're like, oh God, if I just did this or did that or lost this or whatever, you would be perfect. And nobody's going to be perfect. You just have to be the best that you can be for yourself.
Very true. But you better tell the people I work hard. Don't have them thinking that I just lay here and I became this black specimen just laying in the bed.
He works. He does work. He works. But I work harder.
Okay. Now, this question is a little intrusive, I guess, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So the question was, after such major weight loss, how has that affected your sex life?
It's great! Listen, let me tell y'all something. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. And this man might be on the floor or under this desk when I get done saying what I'm great at. But when I tell you, it still amazes me that I can look down.
Oh my God, don't.
And just be like, hey, hoo-ha. Like, I can see my girl. So, hell yeah, sex is better. I used to have. I mean, when I tell you, yeah, after weight loss surgery, you tend to have a lot of loose skin, a lot of extra skin, a lot. So, and I've been very transparent in my surgery journey. So after weight loss surgery, a year later, I had abdominoplasty, and I had a fleur de lis, which was a complete abdominoplasty. I was cut from here down and then across, hip to hip. And when I tell you, once they got rid of Bertha,
oh God,
it was on and popping.
So, my opinion, the sex was great when we was both damn near 500 pounds.
It was.
But I will say, it
do more.
But I will say, it took some getting used to. She says this thing about, you know, we were both bigger. It was a buffer. It was a lot of.
It was a lot of meat in between.
Yeah.
That kept me safe.
All that's gone now. If you get my drift. So yes, the sex life is better after losing a combine of almost 500 pounds.
And it's not, and the sex life is wonderful, but because for me, I have more confidence in myself, it makes it that much better. Because I feel better about me.
When I was fat, I had all the confidence. I didn't give a damn. I knew I was still putting it down. Because that's just what I do. Okay. Winding down here. So, the next question was, the weight loss was one thing, but you guys are both weight training and they want to know more about our program. And as far as the program, if you go back to the last episode, we had the man on himself, CT Fletcher. So we both used the Fletcher formula. So, well, we were start off using the CT Fletcher training app, which now has kind of migrated into the Fletcher formula. I knew early on when the weight started kind of coming off that I wanted to do more. I knew, especially when you lose that much weight that fast, your body starts to look kind of
like you're melting.
Yeah, I was looking like a melted candle, and I knew I wanted to change that. I had been a follower of CT Fletcher's for 12, 13 years. So whatever he had going on, that's what I was going to follow. So luckily for me, he released the training app. I started doing that, and I just knew that I had to get myself in the gym. The weight loss transformation is one thing, but I had a vision of what I wanted my body to look like in my mind, and I knew I had to get my ass in that gym. So I was not content with just being 200 pounds lighter. I knew I wanted some muscle definition and all of that stuff. So I started doing the training app a couple of years ago, and she was doing her marathon training and all of that stuff. But I knew I needed a program to get myself going. So I tell people, people kind of get intimidated when I tell them about, for anybody who knows CT Fletcher, if you follow him, the man's a little...
He can be intimidating.
Yeah.
He can be scary.
His training method is not for everybody. He's going to yell at you.
Yeah.
He's going to cuss you out. Mm-hmm. He's going to say very, very, very bad things to you.
Skin.
Yeah. So, but that was one of the things that always intrigued me about him. So I started the program because I knew I wanted to do a complete transformation, not just with the weight loss. And it started there. My initial point was people get intimidated. You look at CT Fletcher, you look at all the people he works out with, these big, gigantic human beings that throw around 500-600 pounds like it's nothing. But for me, the training app and also now the Fletcher formula, any level that you're on, this will work for you. And I vouch for it any chance that I get. the muscle definition that I put on has been amazing. You guys know I don't do any heavy lifting. I can't do any. Well, I can do heavy lifting, but somebody won't let me. But no, because of my heart condition from last year, they recommend that I don't do any heavy lifting. And that was the thing for me that kind of had me worried early on. I was thinking, well, how am I going to pack on muscle and all of that stuff? So luckily for me, having a relationship with CT, I was able to reach out and he kind of readjusted my training program. All I do is light weights now. I do lightweight, more reps, and it's working for me. So no matter what level you're on, the Fletcher Formula is an amazing program. It'll get you the results, but you got to be dedicated to it. It starts up here, and they'll tell you that from the beginning. If you are not mentally ready to do the program or take on the challenges of it, it's not going to work for you. So she started working out with me really heavy in the gym last year because she felt like she had to monitor me. That's really was about it. It had nothing to do with the weightlifting. She wanted to monitor me to make sure that I was not overdoing it. Mm-hmm. From there, it just kind of became a regular thing. So this is now my workout partner. That's what we do.
Wow, that's like that.
I enjoy working out with you, Nicholas.
I do more endurance stuff. So y'all know that I'm into triathlon. I like the swim, bike, run. But incorporating strength training has been like a game changer for those activities. So my pace in the water is better. I'm stronger on the bike. I have a stronger run. Definitely helps with the endurance piece. I tell people all the time, even if you are a hardcore cardio fan, you need to incorporate some strength training. I mean, it's just going to be better for you in the long run, for your mobility. Yeah. As we age, especially women, you definitely want to be as strong as you can. I don't want to be 75 years old and can't walk. So it's definitely a benefit. You don't have to want to be a bodybuilder or a weightlifter or a power lifter. It's just going to benefit you in your everyday life.
So that's what it is. So 2 more questions real quick. The other question was, I've seen the pictures of you guys with CT Fletcher. Is the CT Fletcher we see online the same CT Fletcher in person?
Yes.
Easy question. Yes.
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 Yes, definitely.
That is not what you see online on YouTube. That is not an act. It is not an act. If I showed you my text thread with CT Fletcher, you'd be appalled the way that man talks to me. Not her, me. Talks extreme.
But
if I had soft skin and took everything personal, I would not be that man's friend. He talks really, really bad to me.
But he is the sweetest, most humble, nicest person. And I connected with him on a different level. CT reminds me so much of my dad, and I just gravitated to him because beyond all the gruff and the cursing and all the hardcore, is just the sweetest man you ever want to meet.
Yeah, they had this like weird connection that it's kind of no,
he has my heart.
Yeah, he and I've told him many a times that I appreciate what he did for her, like her losing her dad a couple of years ago, and him just kind of being somebody she could talk to and for advice, and nobody can ever replace Gary C. Nelson, never, but to have somebody in your life that can kind of be that father figure for you, and that's been...
The Lord knew what I needed.
Yeah, and I don't think he could have picked anybody better to fill that role.
Nope.
So, yeah, he's been amazing, but again, what you see...
What you get.
Again, it is not an act. All right, last question, and this is for Kym. So, clearly, these questions were anonymous. I don't know who asked them, but... clearly somebody followed you. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Is Kym Nichole ever going to go back to modeling?
I'd love to. I mean, modeling served a purpose in a time in my life when I needed it. And then I kind of got away from it and really started focusing on the health, wellness, fitness journey. I would love to model again. I think that there needs to be more representation in the fitness industry of women that look like me. You know, women of color, women with curves, everyday women, you know, natural hair, ain't got none over here. Like a look that would resonate with other people. So I would definitely not close the door on modeling again. I would love to do it. If the right opportunity came along, I'm all for it.
So you heard it here first. You never know. You may see Kym Nichole back modeling again. So we hopefully that gave you a little more insight into the lives of Michael and Kimberly. We hope you guys feel a little more connected to us. And, you know, if you guys ever have any other questions, you could definitely shoot them out there and we'll answer them. But I think this was a good starting point. So, what we got? Anything coming up? Nothing.
Look,
really just trying to. We are really hardcore focused on this move and getting to California here next year. So
less than a year, y'all. We should be in LA. I am right now looking for what opportunities could be out there for me. I want to now really make sure that my passion and my purpose intersect with whatever I decide to do in this next chapter, as far as my professional life go. You know, I've been in the same industry for a very long time, healthcare operations administration, and definitely think that I have a unique skill set that will translate. So I'm ready to move into more of the health, wellness, and fitness realm, and just make sure that what I do is what I really want to do. And moving to LA is going to be great for us and for our family. Our kids are super excited. So that's the focus right now, is getting to California or bust. Ain't that what they say?
Yeah, that's what they say. But yeah, so that's where we are. I don't think we got anything major coming up here. We'll, you know, planning family vacation, stuff like that. So just regular life stuff. Y'all know our motto, life be lifing, and we be lifing hard over here. So again, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We appreciate all the questions, and hopefully you got a little more insight and know us a little better. So we'll see you guys on the next episode. I don't know what it's going to be about, but we're going to be here talking. So we'll see y'all.